Hello everyone and welcome to the next installment of the Wrestling Matters podcast. My name is Anthony Walker, that H, that E to the A to the D. Hope you all had a good week. I've had a so-so week, but hey, I'm not going to let that stop me from delivering the best podcast that I can give you to you very loyal fans of mine and viewers or listeners or whatever. Very weird week in the world of professional wrestling. We had the Royal Rumble on Sunday, and then things changed a little bit because Raw got cancelled. However, there's one little bit of Raw that I want to talk about. I will talk about the Royal Rumble as well. I'll definitely talk about SmackDown and TNA and anything else that's relevant in the world of professional wrestling. But yeah, damn the weather, so to speak. Damn the weather. Raw this week basically could have been Raw Rumble, because it basically showed you the triple threat match and the Royal Rumble itself. However, the ending bit was the one I want to talk about as far as that Raw is concerned, involving one Brock Lesnar and the winner of the Royal Rumble. But I'll get to them later on. Quick promotions, ladies and gentlemen, before I get started. I might as well get these out the way. On the 27th of March, Friday night, if you're in the Middlesbrough area, or you can get to the Middlesbrough area, All Action Wrestling will present a show at the Town Hall in Middlesbrough. I'm going. I will probably be wearing my ICW t-shirt, so you won't be able to miss me. Look on my website, my YouTube site and website and everything to see what I look like as well. So please, don't be afraid to come over and say hello if you're there. Come and talk to me. Let me know, that you listen to the show and everything. Hell, if you even want to talk about wrestling, that's fine. I'll talk wrestling with anybody as well. Or if there's any improvements or ideas you would like for me to do on the podcast, just to improve the podcast, hell, I'm all ears. I'm open to ideas as well. Anything that makes this podcast the best podcast that it can be. But anyway, that's taking place on the 27th of March, Friday night, the 27th of March in Middlesbrough's Town Hall in Middlesbrough, my hometown. So if you're there, or you can get there, get yourself there and come and talk to me and enjoy what I'm hoping will be some great wrestling. Also, ladies and gentlemen, get yourself the WWE Network. That's right, £10 a month. Although I got an email the other day from them saying that February is free, and my next pay from them will not until be March the 1st, because apparently they're giving new subscribers a chance to have it for free for February. So my next pay for that will not until be March the 1st. And considering what's going on with me at the moment, that's going to help a lot. So I dig that. So make sure you get it, and you can see Fastlane for free as well as the other good stuff that is on there. ECW, WCW, yes, WCW Nitro's on there, 1995, 96, no 97, 98, or 99, or 2000, or 2001 yet. I would imagine they'll be on at sometime soon. And if WWE is listening to this, and don't worry, I'll be tweeting you guys, you need to seriously get them up. All the WCW pay-per-views are on there, Starrcade and whatnot. ECW's on there, AWA's on there, some documentary stuff on there, like the rise and fall of ECW, the rise and fall of WCW. Also check out some of their original stuff as well, like WWE, the WrestleMania Rewind stuff. And there's a new show that I watched last week as well called 24. It was behind the scenes look at WrestleMania 30 as well. I recommend that to a T. Also check out their Monday Night War, not the Monday Night War DVD as well. If you've got that, the Monday Night Wars DVD. Check out the original content as well. They did a series on the Monday Night Wars on there. You gotta check that out. It is some interesting stuff. Also, the Legends of Wrestling is on there as well, and I would recommend you go and see the NWO one with Kevin Nash as well. But all that you can get for £10 a month. It beats paying £20 for Sky's pay-per-view prices now. Fuck you, Sky. And by the way, I'm leaving Sky as well. From February 12th, I will be on Virgin. So yeah, I'm not paying. I'm boycotting Sky, which I'm guessing a lot of people will be doing so at some point as well for the pay-per-view, especially if you're a wrestling fan. WWE pay-per-views. The Royal Rumble was $19.95. Okay, or 19. It was 20 quid, and last year it was £14, and we all know why. At least I know why it's like that, because of the WWE Network and that, and Sky are not very happy with that, and they want profit, so they have to up the ante a little bit, which is complete bullshit. But hey, they up the ante. Sky paid the price for it, because I would imagine a lot of wrestling fans and a lot of people will be boycotting Sky for that. I mean, I'll still get Virgin. I'll still get Sky Sports on Virgin. I'll probably watch the odd wrestling show on there now and again. However, I'll keep that now for the football. Yes, I'm a football fan. I'm a soccer fan too. So with the Premier League and the BPL and whatnot. So hopefully that will come down. That will be all changed by the end of February. So, and I tried to string them up this week as well to cancel and that. You wouldn't believe the desperation that Sky deliver to you once you say to them that you want to cancel. It's like something out of a school playground. It really is. They're that desperate, they will stoop to any length to keep you on their Sky. I give them 3 years. I was on there for 3 years. They will stoop to any level to keep you on their on their network, on their program, if you will. And it's just fucking child. I mean, I can go through what they were saying to me or what they were trying to say to me and everything, but we'll be here all day, and this is only this is a wrestling show, not a Sky program show. So this is a wrestling podcast, not a Sky podcast. So we'll move on from that. Like I say, I'll be talking about Royal Rumble. I'll be kicking off with the Royal Rumble thoughts and views and that. What was a somewhat lackluster Royal Rumble, in my opinion. And then we'll be talking the main point from Raw that I want to talk about, as well as SmackDown and TNA, and anything else that is relevant in the world of professional wrestling. And plus, something that bothered me as well when I saw from from Wrestle Talk TV this week as well on their YouTube page. But I'll talk about that later on in the show, so stay tuned for that. Right, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we'll get into the Royal Rumble. Now, Royal Rumble was average, just like last year's, in my opinion. We'll kick off with the kickoff match, which was Cesaro, Tyson Kidd versus Kofi Kingston and Big E. Pretty good tag team match. I still don't like the fact that Cesaro and Kidd are with Adam Rose. I don't like that. I don't like Adam Rose, full stop. It blows my mind that them two with him, but a great tag team match overall. My opinion, Cesaro and Kidd proved they are a great team in this match, and they won the match, which was, like I say, pretty cool. Very good tag team match to kick for something that was on the kickoff show. Probably should have been on the pay-per-view, but hey, that's WWE. But pretty good tag team match, and I'm glad Cesaro and Tyson Kidd won, because I think they'll be the next tag team to take over the tag team division as champions. When, I don't know, but it'll be coming. Now, Ascension versus the New Age Outlaws. I was praying, like I said last week, I was with Roxxie. I was praying for the New Age Outlaws to beat these guys, but like I said, it made sense for it made more sense for the Ascension to win. As much as I hate to say that, because these two punks still come dressed up as Road Warrior wannabes, it made sense for them to win. And not only did they win, they actually dominated the Outlaws. And I have to admit, it was very impressive, no doubt. Because they didn't just beat two jobbers or two local twats like they were doing prior to they got their butts kicked by APA and co on Raw. They beat the Outlaws, probably one of the greatest tag teams in WWE's history, if not the greatest tag team in WWE's history. So I was very impressed with them. I hated that they won, but hey, it is what it is. The Bella Twins versus Paige and Natalya. Just a regular Divas match, to be honest with you. It was a total Divas match, and Nikki and Brie dominated Paige and Natalya and got a dominant victory over them. It was as simple as that. No way of putting that, cleanly, if you will. Now, tag team match. The tag team title match, rather. Usos beat Miz and Damien Mizdow. Hopefully these two will split up now, Miz and Mizdow. But yeah, that could have basically been a squash match, to be fair, for the Usos. Because we all know the Usos were going to win that. What's next for the Usos as tag team champions? Who knows? Probably a feud with Cesaro and Kidd, because Cesaro and Kidd will be looking for a title shot. Guess we'll have to wait and see. Now to the match that, quite frankly, in my opinion, stole the show. Brock Lesnar, John Cena, Seth Rollins. A very unexpected but very pleasure triple threat match, because this was awesome. Seth Rollins put Brock through a table. Apparently there was medical, and it was mainly for about 5 minutes. It was mainly 5 to 10 minutes after Brock got put through the table. It was mainly John Cena versus Seth Rollins. And in my opinion, and just my opinion, Brock Lesnar was supposed to have a broken rib, but he got back up, got in the ring after Seth Rollins delivered the Phoenix Splash and just totally dominated the rest of the match. And then Seth gets him, for the win. I think he curb stomped him. Seth gets him up, goes to hit him. He hits him twice with the Money in the Bank briefcase. Goes for a third time. He hits him twice, and it goes for another curb stomp. But Brock gets up, F5s him, gets the pin, and retains the match. It was a great triple threat match. It really was. And there was one part in that match as well. I mean, if you haven't seen this, go and find it. Go and find this match. This match was just worth watching Royal Rumble itself, to be fair. And there was one part in the match. I don't know what he was going to do. I would imagine it was just the knee to the face. Seth Rollins went for a springboard knee. I would imagine it had been that. But as he went for a springboard knee, he jumped right into Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar caught him in midair and then F5'd him. I swear to God, Brock Lesnar is not only a beast, he's a fucking animal. Fuck Batista, man. Fuck Batista. He's an animal. Absolute animal. Now, please go and find that and watch that match if you haven't seen it. Now, surprise entrances. I'll start the Royal Rumble match itself. Lackluster, if you ask me. Surprise entrances were a bit on the downside. All apart from one. Because number 1 and number 2... were R-Truth and Miz. Miz and R-Truth came out, 1 and 2 respectively. And number 3 was probably the biggest shock of them all. Bubba Ray Dudley. That's right. Teenage Bully Ray, if you will. Bubba Ray Dudley returned. And I never thought I'd see him in that outfit again, to be honest. But it was awesome. Absolute awesome. The other ones were Diamond Dallas Page, surprise entrance. Diamond Dallas Page was surprise entrance as well. One part in that match as well, I believe it came down to Bray Wyatt on his own, and the Boogeyman appeared. That's right, the return of the Boogeyman, which was quite beautiful. The disappointment of them, for me, was no Randy Orton. And apparently Randy Orton was being held back for another day by WWE. Why, I don't know, but it was. No Randy Orton. No Rob Van Dam, like it said on the dirt sheet. So whoever wrote that on the dirt sheet is a big fat liar. Oh yeah, confirmed. No, Rob Van Dam wasn't in there. Fucking Roman Reigns won. Daniel Bryan got eliminated to the chorus of boos. Dolph Ziggler got eliminated despite he was the last man to enter at number 30 to a chorus of boos. And it came down to two members of the Authority, Big Show and Kane, Rusev, who was on the outside, never got eliminated, and Roman Reigns. Now, Big Show and Kane got into a fight and Reigns managed to eliminate them both. But Kane and Big Show came back in, put a beat down on Roman Reigns. Now, this is probably when the part where you would have probably thought Randy Orton would have came out. Despite the fact that the guy who came out, we all knew he was in Philadelphia anyway. But you would have thought this guy came out. The Rock came out to help his family member, his cousin, if you will, put a beat down. He got rid of the two Authority guys. And then Rusev came back in, goes for a clothesline. Reigns ducks it, comes back off. Reigns spears him and then throws him out to a chorus of boos. The Royal Rumble winner got booed out the building, and apparently after this pay-per-view there was a backlash for it. Cancel WWE Network hashtag on Twitter, which was fucking stupid. Okay, I mean, I know it's a backlash, I know you're angry, but Jesus Christ, really, guys? You're gonna put cancel WWE Network on you as a backlash on Twitter? Grow the fuck up, will you? I mean, I can understand you're angry, but don't turn it into a child to a fucking kindergarten thing, please. But there you have it. That was the Royal Rumble itself, and in my opinion that got 4 out of 10 for me. Like I say, average, below average Royal Rumble for me, except for the triple threat. That was the only thing worth talking about on the show, apart from a few of the celebrity entrants, the surprise entrances as well, i.e. Bubba Ray, but very poorly done. Now I might as well throw this in as well, since there was no Raw this week. Monday Night Raw. It basically could have been called Royal Rumble, because that's what was on. It was basically showing you the triple threat match and the Royal Rumble itself. But one thing I want to talk about was at the end, where Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns came face to face. There was a talk back and forth between them. Brock got up. Heyman throws his 2 cents in, saying, "Oh, I respect you, Mr. Reigns," and this, that, and the other. Brock just gets up in his face, shakes his hand, and says, "Unlike him, I don't respect you." And then Reigns turns around and goes, "After WrestleMania, you will." So it was very interesting. Probably the only interesting thing on Monday Night Raw this week. But other than that, I liked it. There's no point in me rating Raw, to be honest with you, because it was basically Raw Rumble. So that's the end of that. Now I'll be back after this quick promo, guys. I'll be back after this with the SmackDown results and talking points. So stay tuned after this. See you in a bit. Be sure to listen to the Wrestling Matters podcast each and every Monday, only on Mixcloud, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, YouTube, Podomatic, and SoundCloud. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans. We talk about Monday Night Raw, we shoot the breeze, we pipe bomb, and we tell it like it is. Tune in each and every Monday for the Wrestling Matters podcast, where wrestling matters.
Be sure to listen to the Sunday Segway Wrestling Podcast.
What?
Every Sunday with Kenny Killer and the Galdem Sugar Shoes.
Yes!
With all the news, views, and laughter that you want.
They like Jenner playing. They like like long limousines.
Royal Rumble.
Every Sunday, the Sunday Segway
Triple
Wrestling
H soon turned his attention to the Royal Rumble,
Automatic,
stating that he will address the Royal Rumble match controversy controversial finish by making an announcement Monday night on Raw that will likely shake the WWE Universe to its core.
Be sure to listen to the Sunday Segway Wrestling Podcast
What?
every Sunday with Kenny Killer and the Gal Dem Sugar Shuggs.
Yes! Yes!
With all the news, views, and laughter that you want.
They like jet airplanes. Woo! They like long limousines.
Every Sunday, the Sunday Segway Wrestling Podcast on Podomatic, iTunes, and YouTube.
So why don't you choke on that, slap nut?
Of beating Brock Lesnar for the World Heavyweight Championship, Seth Rollins issued an open challenge that was answered by the Hungry Ryback. A match never got started, however, as J&J Security pounced on the big guy before Eric Rowan and Dolph Ziggler arrived on the scene to even the odds, sending Mr. Money in the Bank and his security team running for the hills. Tyson Kidd beat Jey Uso with a little help from Natalia. Cesaro jumped on the ring apron, providing enough distraction for Tyson to take control and win. John Cena confronts Rusev, who apparently are going to be meeting at Fastlane on February 22nd, which is quite ridiculous, to be fair. Maybe they got some other plans for John Cena, I don't know, but last time I checked, these two were supposed to meet at WrestleMania. But hey, the Super Athlete and the C Nation traded bribes, but just as they seemed ready to fight, the United States champion decides to retreat. What will happen on February 22nd? You can see that on the WWE Network. All pay-per-view if you want to buy it. The Bella Twins jump Cage as well. The Ascension defeat Goldust and Stardust. Coming off an impressive victory over the Outlaws at the Royal Rumble, the Ascension continue to show little respect for the rest of the WWE Tag Team division before introducing their SmackDown opponents, Stardust and Goldust, to the Wasteland. After Stardust tags himself in, prompting a brief dispute between the bizarre duo, Connor and Victor laid waste to the starry-eyed superstar via the fall of man, and the Ascension win. Bray Wyatt delivers his creepy forecast. And then the main event, which was Kane and Daniel Bryan, seeing Daniel Bryan beating Kane. Both superstars narrowly escaped, getting enclosed inside the horrific casket as they battle outside the ring. It seemed as though WWE's Director of Operations had the victory, lined up after smashing a steel chair into the Yes Man's back. But it was the running knee from the leader of the Yes Movement that would allow Bryan enough time to shut the casket and pick up the victory. I would give this a 6 out of 10, because it was a pretty good show. Far better than the Royal Rumble. But, yeah. 6 out of 10, pretty good SmackDown. Guess we'll find out what happens on Raw this week. Now, I'm going to take another quick break, guys, and then I'll be back with the TNA results and views and opinions, as well as the views and opinions of professional wrestling, as I do each and every week. So, stay tuned. Be sure to follow the Wrestling Matters Podcast Twitter site right now at www.twitter.com/WM Podcast. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Wrestling Matters Podcast, and now it's time for the TNA main talking points. TNA kicked off this week with Bobby Roode, MVP, Austin Aries, and Bobby Lashley. The It Factor Bobby Roode enters the Impact Zone carrying the World Heavyweight Championship. Roode says the championship he's holding doesn't belong to him, but that it means more to him than anything in the world. He says he lives for professional wrestling, and that on January 7th, the championship was stolen from him by his former best friend, Eric Young. Roode declares he won't rest until spilling Eric Young's blood. He invites Lashley to the ring, saying he has something that belongs to him, but also something that he wants. Roode gives Lashley the championship and says that Lashley earned his respect by standing up to MVP. Eric Young and the other goons. Roode demands a rematch tonight. Lashley agrees. Austin Aries, with his Feast of Fire briefcase in hand, interrupts Roode's call for a referee. Aries says he's the man with the most options. He says he can have a World Heavyweight Championship match anytime, any place. As Aries considers his options, MVP heads towards the ring, addressing them all. MVP says the title belongs to the BDC. MVP says Lashley should defend against him. Lashley agrees, and he says he'll defend against all three tonight, much to Bobby Roode's disappointment. Triple threat match for the Knockouts title, which saw Madison Rayne, Gail Kim, and Tyrene Terrell. And Tyrene Terrell wins the match. Tommy Dreamer heads to the Impact Zone. He says for 25 years the people have supported him, and that without him there would be no him. Without them there'd be no him. He says he'll never lie to the people, and that he'll never will. He says there's a situation that needs to be addressed. He calls out Eric Young. Eric Young tells Dreamer to stay out of his business. Dreamer says Eric Young is making a mistake. Dreamer says Young shouldn't burn a bridge or turn his back on his best friend or the fans. Eric Young says Tommy Dreamer is a fat loser and that he doesn't want to burn a bridge with Bobby Roode. He wants to blow it up. Young says being friends with Dreamer and Roode was a mistake, and that he no longer makes mistakes. Dreamer gets in Eric Young's face. Eric Young drops him with a pile driver. Eric Young retrieves a chair and punches the timekeeper. Bobby Roode makes the save. Bram and Magnus, yes ladies and gentlemen, Bram, I hope a certain person's listening to that, argue in a bar. Magnus says the Feast of Fire briefcase featured a tag team championship opportunity. Magnus asks Bram to be his tag team partner. Bram claims then they look at pictures of Magnus' baby boy. They toast to the future. Bram and Magnus agree to have dinner. Then Bram ambushes Magnus and smashes his head into a concrete wall. Bram pulls a billiard ball out of a coat pocket and pounds it in the back of the head of Magnus. Magnus lays motionless and Bram screams, "Look at you now." So I guess this is the end of this little thing. Monsters Ball, which saw before the match even starts, Jeff Hardy attacks Abyss backstage. He lodges Abyss behind a door and repeatedly slams the door against the monster Abyss. Hardy leads Abyss into the arena and the bell finally sounds. Hardy drives Abyss's face into the ring post and before the steps. Hardy sets up a table at ringside, but the monster battles back, attempting to chokeslam Hardy through a table. Hardy counters, but Abyss sends him crashing hard into the stairs. Abyss loads the ring with weaponry, and Jeff Hardy comes out of nowhere to change the momentum of the match. Jeff Hardy counters another chokeslam with a twist of fate. Abyss rolls to the outside. Jeff Hardy leaps off a steel chair over the top rope. Abyss moves at the last minute and Jeff crashes through a table. Crowd chants, "You still got it." Abyss rolls Hardy into the ring before grabbing a bag of tacks even. Hardy drags a cheese grater across Abyss's groin. Abyss retreats and Jeff Hardy punishes Abyss, sidesteps Hardy, sending him face first into the steel chair mounting in the corner. Hardy drops Abyss with a second twist of fate before sending the ring post for a swanton, but the Revolution interfere. Matt Hardy makes the save until the numbers game proves too much. The Wolves do a run-in to fend them off. Abyss returns to his feet and paws the tacks in the center of the ring. He positions Hardy on the top rope and attempts to suplex him. Hardy counters into a rolling powerbomb. Abyss lands in the middle of the tacks and Hardy connects with a swanton for the victory. The World Heavyweight Championship. By the way, it was Bromains versus Rockstar Spud and Mark Andrews. I refuse to even talk about that match, considering what Bromains did to Velvet Sky and considering that Mandrew's name. Anyway, moving on. World Championship. Lashley approaches MVP. MVP retreats. Roode and Aries force MVP back into the ring. They all take shots at MVP and Lashley connects with a huge shoulder block in the corner. Roode turns on Aries and then he and Lashley lock up. Lashley forces Roode into the corner and chokes him with his foot. Roode is sent to the other side of the ring, but he climbs the ropes and connects with a neckbreaker. Aries flies off the top rope, taking out Lashley. Roode disposes of Aries and then he drops a charging MVP with a spinebuster. Aries and Roode end up doing battle while Lashley and MVP are relegated to the outside. Lashley charges back into the ring. He drops Rude and counters a brainbuster attempt from Aries. Aries dodges Lashley, sending him back outside. Aries connects with a suicide dive, sending him into the guardrail. MVP has Aries well scouted, and he takes an opportunity to connect with a hard forearm, sending Aries into Lashley. MVP attacks Rude and Aries, and Rude begins to battle back. A distraction from Austin Aries allows MVP to capitalize. MVP makes a pin attempt on Rude. Aries makes a save and locks in the last chancery. Lashley breaks the hold, hoists Aries onto his shoulder and powers him face first into the mat. MVP trips Lashley, and then Aries flies again to the outside, connecting with MVP. Eric Young runs in with a chair to assault Bobby Roode. Meanwhile, Lashley attempts to spear Aries. Aries counters the spear with the last chancery. MVP interrupts the count, but Aries sends him to the outside with a discus forearm. Aries rushes across the ring to connect with a suicide dive, but Lashley intercepts him with a spear to retain the championship. Post-match BDC attack Lashley. Could Angle and Gunner make the save? Rude challenges Young next week. Eric Young's by saying, "I'm going to take your blood." Angle announces that Austin Aries will join him and Gunner to battle the Beatdown Clan, and asks Lashley to join him. Lashley refused, leaving Angle stranded. So what's going to happen next? Who will join Team Angle? I guess we'll have to wait and see. But the one thing is, Bobby Lashley doesn't seem keen to do it. Right, I'm going to go for a final quick promo, commercial break, whatever you want to do it. We'll shot another quick promo on, and then after that I'm going to talk about the main views and opinions in the world of professional wrestling, so stay tuned.
Be sure to listen to the Sunday Segway Wrestling Podcast.
What?
Every Sunday with Kenny Killer and the Galdem Sugar Shugs.
Yes!
With all the news, views, and laughter that you want.
They like jet airplanes. Woo! They like long limousines.
Every Sunday, the Sunday Segway Wrestling Podcast on Podomatic, iTunes, and YouTube.
So why don't you choke on that, slap nut?
Welcome back to the final part of the Wrestling Matters podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I've got a few things that I want to talk about before I end this episode here. Apparently, a WWE legend, according to Wrestle Talk TV, WTTV, by the way, if you haven't seen them, you can see them on Challenge on Sundays, each and every Sunday from 11 p.m. after TNA. Or, if you're abroad, you can see it on their YouTube page. Links will be, I'll shot a link in the description for that. But apparently on WWE TV, on WTTV, it was told that a certain Chris Jericho refused to enter the Royal Rumble, saying that if he came back, he wanted to be something spectacular, not something, something that was a cameo appearance, so to speak. He wanted to be spectacular, so that was probably the reason why. Would I love to have seen him in the Rumble? Yeah, but if he wants to make his comeback more better than a cameo appearance in the Rumble, then okay. It seems that at WrestleMania, as noted, it's expected that Daniel Bryan versus Dolph Ziggler, yes, you heard me right, Daniel Bryan versus Dolph Ziggler, and Bray Wyatt versus The Undertaker will be two of the matches at WrestleMania this year. WWE are teasing that we may get new angles for Bryan and Wyatt on Monday's Raw, which could be the start of their WrestleMania 31 storylines. WWE's website wrote the following about Wyatt and his teaser from SmackDown, which is rumored to have been a message about The Undertaker. So, Daniel Bryan versus Dolph Ziggler, that'll be a show stealer in itself, and a hell of a match. They've fought before, but never at WrestleMania, so that would be interesting. Bray Wyatt versus The Undertaker, which is what it was coming down to. Could this be Undertaker's last match, though? Guess we'll have to wait and see. Now, apparently Mick Foley has been telling Vince McMahon, to stop writing Roman Reigns' promos. Mick Foley is back with another Facebook blog to address the WWE 2015 Royal Rumble. Vince McMahon writing Roman Reigns promos and more. It says in the blog that he's telling Vince McMahon to stop writing Roman Reigns' promos. I don't know about that. I don't know what you guys make of that. Leave it in the comment box on YouTube, or get me at WM Podcast on Twitter, or at Tony_Walker on Twitter. I mean, do you think, by the way, make sure if you do that on Twitter, make sure you use the hashtag WM Podcast. If you think that, I mean, I don't know if it's Roman Reigns. I don't know if it's Vince McMahon writing Roman Reigns' promos, or I just think Roman's that bad. I don't know. That's a difficult one for me, that. Let's have a look at and see if there's anything else worth talking about. I have to say, it was a very thing, if you will. Very quiet week in the world of wrestling. Dixie Carter announced on Twitter that Ross and Marshall Von Erich will be making their returns to TNA at next month's Impact Wrestling taping from Universal Studios. Their father, WWE Hall of Famer Kevin, will also be appearing. Dixie wrote. As noted, Drew McIntyre made his TNA debut at this week's tapings. Galloway tweeted the following about his debut. Felt unreal to make an impact in Glasgow. Trust me, I'm getting started. I'll see everyone in Manchester and London. But what does that leave? I mean, the last time I checked, the guy's supposed to be working in TNA, in ICW. He's supposed to be their champion. You know, ICW and TNA, combining, working together. I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait. I guess we'll have to find out on that one. But there's definitely more to that story than meets the eye. And congratulations to Grado as well, because he beat Al Snow at their TNA tapings. Got a little symbol of revenge. And also earned Al Snow's respect. Now, that is the end of this edition of the Wrestling Matters podcast. Sorry if it's a little short this week, or shorter than usual, because there was no Raw this week, so tune in next week, guys, for episode 45. This is episode 44. Tune in next week for episode 45. I'll have some announcements as well for upcoming guests, and hope you all have a good week, and until next week, peace out.